ready? Afternoon, I'm Charles Mosher. I'm going to talk to you about George H.W. Bush. Who knows who George H.W. Bush is? Anybody? Who is he?
George Bush Sr., the president before.
Okay, you know what number president he was?
Not sure.
41. You raise your hand? What are you going to say?
I'll say the same thing.
Okay. He's George W. Bush's father. He's the 41st president of the United States. Also, we have a carrier named after him. Anyone know why we have a carrier named after him? All right, we're going to be going over that. Okay, George Bush was born in 1924 in Massachusetts. His father was a banker, mom, stay-at-home mom, like most of the females were at the time. He was born into privilege. Like I said, his father was a banker, and eventually, after his graduation, his father became the senator for Connecticut. When he graduated from Phillips Academy, which is a prestigious high school, more of a boarding school, graduated from there, and he had a chance to go to Yale. But when he graduated from high school, we started World War II. So he enlisted into the Navy. He was pinned his wings as an aircraft pilot at the age of 18. As of today, he is still the youngest pinned aviator in naval history. And I don't think that will ever be beat now, the way that things go. He went to spend a year in school learning how to fly an aircraft, flew the Avengers off the USS San Ysidro. In 1944, on September 2nd, he was shot down during a bombing raid on Chichijima. During that situation, he was flying in to bomb an aircraft tower, took anti-aircraft fire, lost his bombardier and his rear gunner. Successfully dropped 400 or 500-pound bombs on his target and started flying back out to sea. Told his guys to jump, didn't get any word. Finally, the aircraft was on fire. He said, I gotta go. He jumped out, bailed out, landed in the water. For 2 hours, his support aircraft had to fight off gunboats coming to pick him up. Because back in the World War II, it was a big thing if you can pick up POWs or aviators and stuff like that. So anyway, for 2 hours, his guys on fellow aircraft were sitting there fighting off gunboats coming to pick him up. After that, they had to fly back to the ship, so he was stuck out there for about 3 more hours before the periscope of USS Finback, a submarine, spotted him and picked him up. He had his injuries. He was burned, had a concussion to the head because when he jumped out of the aircraft, he actually hit the tail of the aircraft when he landed, when he jumped out. Spent about a month on the on the submarine. Once he was done with that, he had a chance to fly back to the States and just for his rotation. He said, no, I wanted to keep on fighting. He flew about 58 more missions after that, and it was awarding the Naval Distinguished Flying Cross, which is pretty big for an aviator to win that award. Overall, he flew 58 combat missions and over 1,228 combat flight hours, which is a lot, especially during the time frame. Upon completion of his rotation in Navy, he came back, married Barbara Bush, was waiting for more orders to come back and fight in the war, but by then Japan had surrendered. So after that, he went to Yale, got his degree in Yale, and moved to Texas. Once in Texas, he got into the oil business. He started up 4 different companies, started running, made an LLC, and started getting state politics. He ran in 1964, he ran for the Senate of Texas, got defeated, went back and ran for the House of Representatives, won in that election, and then won the previous election after that. Following the second term of being in the House, he decided, I'm going to run for Senate again. Got defeated. So that was it for his time in Congress for Texas. After that, he was appointed an ambassador by UN. He was appointed an ambassador to the UN by President Richard Nixon. Served his time in the UN. During Nixon's second term, he went from the ambassador to the UN to becoming the president of the Republican National Committee. During that time frame, everybody's heard of Watergate, right? During that time frame, you had Watergate going on. Everybody was asking President Nixon, "Hey, please step down, please step down. You're embarrassing the presidency. Step down, step down." It wasn't until George Bush officially, as president of the Republican National Party, said, "Hey, you need to step down." Did Richard Nixon agree to step down? Following his time as a Republican National Chairman, he was appointed director of the CIA by Gerald R. Ford. He stayed director of Gerald R. Ford all the way up to Jimmy Carter was elected and sworn into office. Once Jimmy Carter was sworn into office, he decided to leave the director of the CIA. After that, he decided, I want to run for president. So after Jimmy Carter was going up for re-election, George Bush decided, I want to run for president. Well, he lost the Republican nominee to a person we know now as Ronald Reagan. But Ronald Reagan, once he won the nomination for the Republican Party, decided that he was going to take George Bush as his running mate. He ended up running 2 terms as vice president, and then ran after Ronald Reagan for president. Served one term as president. Now, a lot of people can say if George Bush was a good president or a bad president. That's all up to y'all deciding on your own merits. Some things he did was he was very proactive in helping out people. On the USS George Bush, they have a thing called 1,000 Ray of Light. And that was a program that George Bush started when he was a vice president of the United States. He's responsible. His son, and President Clinton worked together with Katrina victims over in New Orleans, stuff like that. So he's still very active. In fact, for his last birthday, I believe it was his 92nd, I might be wrong with that, he's still jumping out of airplanes. He said that he built out one airplane because he had to, not because he wanted to. So since then, he jumps with the Golden Knights almost every year on his birthday, just to do it. And so that's why we have a ship called USS George H.W. Bush, because like I said, he was the youngest naval aviator in the U.S. Navy, and then for what he's done for the country in different capacities, from being representing Texas in the House of Representatives, being director of the CIA, chairman of the Republican National Committee, vice president, and president. He's done a lot for this country. So he was given forth to have a ship named after him. Thank you.